Given the origins of the title of this series, it's no secret that I'm a huge fan of a little game known as The World Ends With You, a title that graced our shores and our DS's in 2008. The game was amazing. It was a third-party game made by Square Enix that actually used Nintendo's touchscreen as well as a first-party game would. It combined the artistic style of Kingdom Hearts director Tetsuya Nomura with a modern, urban setting and characters that resonated incredibly well with my 15-year-old self. The game followed Neku Sakuraba as he played the Reaper's game, a week-long challenge in which he'd have to defeat strange monsters called the Noise and complete tasks around Tokyo's Shibuya district, an accurate recreation of Tokyo's Shibuya district, no less. Of course, there are plenty of twists and turns in the narrative, the first being that in order to fight the Noise, Neku needs to team up with another person, something that he's already not fond of. But it couldn't get worse for him when his partner is the delightfully bubbly Shiki. And so, they become your average emo guy and Genki girl combination, with Shiki grating on Neku's every last nerve. No spoilers here, but I will say that the game starts breaking down that tired trope as soon as the second day, and it's fantastic. But here I am rambling about the story when really the whole game is amazing. The music, the gameplay, the art style, it's all really fantastic. And the pin system that changes up Neku's attacks will have you chugging along for weeks and weeks on end trying to get them all. This isn't even mentioning that you control two different characters at once with the touchscreen and control pad, and the RPG elements, and putting Neku in a dress and feeding Shiki hamburgers, and that the game's difficulty can go from pleasantly easy to eye-screamingly difficult at your command. Look, it's a great game. Go try it. That's my story. Oh, wait. The world ends with Splatoon? I suppose I should explain myself. You see, this game needs a sequel. It's been teased several times throughout the years, with TWEWY characters being... TWEWY is the colloquialization of The World Ends With You. Of course, we call it TWEWY. With TWEWY characters being used in Kingdom Hearts 3D and a fun little secret image at the end of the iOS port. It hasn't happened yet, but it should. I was reminded of this lately while playing as a little game called Splatoon. Now, a niche JRPG isn't exactly what comes to mind when first looking at Splatoon, especially if the Miiverse posts are any indication. But I can't be the only one who feels the vibrations of TWEWY all over Inkopolis, right? It doesn't take a genius to realize that Inkopolis is based on Tokyo, and once you start thinking about the two, the similarities and the possibilities start to come out. Let's start with something basic. Both Splatoon and TWEWY have urban modern settings, which is pretty basic. The Inkopolis hub being a huge street crossing reminds me of TWEWY's central area, the Scramble Crossing, where there are also tons of people. We've got wild ads, pop groups running rampant, kids with all kinds of attitude, and of course, fashion. Both games put an emphasis on trendy clothes as in-game equipment, which is a pretty basic comparison, but when the shopkeepers in Splatoon tell me that I'm not fresh enough to wear a certain article of clothing, I can't help but think of the bravery mechanic from TWEWY, in which case your character couldn't equip certain clothing items unless their bravery was high enough. And yes, it included cross-dressing, even though the overworld sprites never changed, which is really a bummer. This is also a reason why we need a sequel. Let's take it one step further, though, since both forms of equipment have another sort of secret mechanic to them. In Splatoon, it's gaining points to unlock more abilities for your equipment, while in TWEWY all the abilities are unlocked from the start. Clothing has a bonus effect. Certain brands of clothing will give you bonuses if they're worn in an area where those brands of clothing are popular. You can actually make the brands more popular by battling in your favorite brand, so it's an interesting mechanic to make note of. But why do I bring it up since it's so different from Splatoon's? Because Splatoon clothing also has brands. It's a little random, but when seeing it, it was almost like muscle memory. I always get this weird suspicion that I should stay consistent with my brands. Oh, and now I want some natural puppy clothes in Splatoon, because that'd just be great. And now let's get to the really fun thing that reminded me about TWEWY needing a sequel. Splatoon is on the Wii U. This is related because Nintendo made the perfect console for The World Ends With You. You, the letter. Dual screens on a home console? Any TWEWY fans have had that dream already. That prophetic vision. It seems obvious. But thinking about it in tandem with Splatoon and all of its online features and whatnot make it seem wonderful. One of the memorable features in Splatoon is the Miiverse integration in Inkopolis and in the actual matches themselves. In the Inkopolis hub, you just walk up to someone and see their Miiverse post, like a little glimpse into their mind, which is, conversely, a mechanic in TWEWY. In TWEWY, you can actually read the minds of passers-by. Most of them are just thinking about random day-to-day things like their favorite idol, whether or not they did their homework, and gossip amongst friends, while others are used to read the minds of mission-relevant characters and glean information about what you're supposed to do. The former would be a spectacular integration of Miiverse into a new TWEWY game. Text posts could be people's thoughts, while drawn posts could serve as graffiti just like in Splatoon. This would also tie into TWEWY's themes of being kind to other people, though. As people ask for help with a certain pin or aspect of the game, you could gain experience for your own pins, which in the original gained experience in 3 types of ways, one of which included street passing with someone before street passing was even a thing. As a reward for helping solve other people's problems. It wouldn't be a huge reward to avoid exploits, but just something to remind you that helping people is crucial to the core themes of this game. But once again, let's go even deeper. Why stop there if the game is all about the need to work with one another to survive within the Reaper's game? Why not have the game be entirely based on online co-op with another partner? Well, the answer is pretty obviously because your progress in the game would then be solely dependent on the other person being around. But I think there are a multitude of ways to look at this. First off, you need a single-player mode. There you can have your main story and your classic attention-dividing dual-screen gameplay. Then you can have a co-op story mode in which you can have multiple files for pairing up with different people. Built into this mode is a bit of a scheduling app so that you and the other player can decide when to meet again to continue the game. The only thing in a story-based co-op mode is that communication would be key. How disastrous would it be if one person wanted to go clothes shopping while another person wanted to fight noise? The game would essentially need voice chat, which I know Nintendo isn't keen on. But in TWEWY, I think it could work, since it's only 2 people and it's in a co-op setting. Otherwise, I'm sure some form of communication, almost like we'd see in Triforce Heroes, would work. There's an alternative to this. Instead of a full-on story mode, there's a Reaper's game mode in which every day is a new challenge. You go in with your equipment and food preset so that you can't change it once in the mode, and so that there's nothing else to do when you're in the mode. You sort of go into the challenge and know that you're doing it. You're then paired up with another partner to complete the day's challenge. The partner could be a friend, or you could get paired up randomly. You do the day's mission and receive a ranking, or points, based on things like time, battle skill, and creativity. At the end of the week, the scores get tallied and the players with the highest ranks get some kind of prize, which is doubled if you manage to complete all the tasks with the same person. Something the matchmaking algorithm would be looking for if you were trying to do the daily mission. There might even be like a ping system where if the other person is just playing the game when their partner from the previous day comes online, they can say, okay, let's do the daily challenge now. The possibilities for multiplayer in this game, especially with regards to online, are just endless. The way you level up pins, the way you do battle, the way you experience the story, they're all things that can take advantage of the online features that weren't on the DS. The way Splatoon did online and did it well just made me a believer that something so online-based and awesome could actually work. Heck, even the type of co-op that Nintendo used in Splatoon and Hyrule Warriors would make 10 times more sense in this game. One person places the pin user on the touchscreen of the gamepad, and the other person places their partner, using a Wiimote to control them like the first player usually would on the control pad of the gamepad. I think the only downside to these possibilities is that the story, in some way, would have to be cut back some. That's unfortunate, but I think to keep the game accessible, it'd be worth it. Like I said, TWEWY's gameplay is superb even on its own, even without the fantastic atmosphere behind it, most of which would still be intact in an online setting. I know that this might be a hard sell for people who have never played TWEWY, but I beseech you, go find this game or go find some videos. Watch or play through that beautiful chaos. Imagine the light puck passing between you and a friend in another state or another country and taking down the noise together. Imagine a new level every day to keep you coming back for more and more. Maybe it's not your thing, but to the fans of this amazing game, the Wii U has always had us holding our breath. Also, ditto for Kid Icarus, but that's for another day.